Do y'all remember the beginning of the season when Devin Booker said that the Phoenix Suns were finally going to make the playoffs because he was tired of missing it? Well, I do. And I remember laughing it off because I, for one, thought that the Phoenix Suns were going to be in contention for a lottery pick. But through 7 games of the season, they're 5-2 and they sit 3rd in the West. And at the time of recording this, I just watched them beat Philadelphia, the first team to do so this season, and I think it's worth talking about. The first thing that jumps off the page at me is the fact that they're 4th in offensive efficiency. Currently, the Phoenix Suns are shooting 47% from the field, 38% from 3, and 82% from the free throw line, all of which are above average, especially that free throw percentage. It's actually pretty fucking insane when you think about it. This puts them 4th in field goal percentage and 7th from 3. These are not the numbers of a Phoenix Suns team that's going to be competing for a lottery pick. These are the numbers of a team that, at face value, look like they could be making a playoff push. But the numbers don't say it all. What happens when you watch the game? I mean, the first thing I gotta notice is the fact that Devin Booker's got so much more freedom. And not only does he have more freedom, he's playing with a pep in his step. You can see it in the way he slams down those dunks. He's got that walk it like a talk it kind of attitude. He knows that this is his season. He knows that he's got to live up to what he set up before we even began. He's the one who said that he's tired of not making the playoffs, and he's playing like somebody who wants to prove it. I mean, this man is averaging 26, 5, and 3 on 50, 40, 90. Now these aren't stats that are new to Devin Booker. I mean, we've seen him put up these type of numbers before, but very often we've rejected it because we say, well, they're empty stats. It's simply numbers that don't produce wins. But so far, he's killing it, and his team are getting the W's. And I think that if he can continue to do that this entire season, we're finally going to see him break into that all-star category that we all know he has the potential to do. What's also important to note is, I don't think he's doing as much playmaking as he has been. Sure, the assist numbers are still up, but he is no longer just the only points of attack in this Phoenix Suns offense. He doesn't have to do as much of the facilitating as possible. This gives him more opportunity to find space around the court for him to release these deadly 3-point shots that we know he's capable of. I think the fact that there are more attacking options on the court along with him now actually benefits him greatly. When you've got the likes of Kelly Oubre and Dario Saric on the perimeters, it opens up space in the paint for Devin Booker to drive at. We know that he's got good handles, and we know that he has the ability to finish at the rim, and he has more opportunity to do that when there are better offensive players on the court with him. This brings me to the 2 players that I think are really important to talk about, that being Ricky Rubio and Kelly Oubre Jr. What's vital to this team is that they can now defer to other players that are not Devin Booker. Kelly Oubre is averaging a solid 17 points. And sure, I don't think he's ever going to be an all-star. I don't think he's ever going to get to that 22-23 point per game region. But at current value, he's giving them another scoring option that they didn't have in the beginning. He's able to drive. I think he's got a decent handle on him. He's also shooting a solid 36% from 3 on 4 attempts per game. I do think, however, that if he could up that to about 5 or 6 attempts per game, it would greatly improve the offense of the Suns. But what's important here is that they have someone else to go to if Devin Booker isn't on the court. I don't think that they had that for the past few seasons. And with Ricky Rubio, yeah, sure, he's not a lights out shooter. He's actually averaging 37% from the field. but he's not there to just give you scoring. He's there to be the facilitator. He's there to get you the 9 assists per game so that the likes of Devin Booker and Kelly Oubre can get the points that they're getting. This ability to spread the play amongst them is shown in the fact that Phoenix are actually second in the league for assists right now. Now, of course, that's not just down to Ricky Rubio, but I would say that he's a big part of it. But the fact of the matter is Monty Williams has got them playing a really entertaining style of basketball that gets everyone on the court involved and allows for multiple offensive weapons to be used at once. I mean, beyond the perimeter shooting and the ability to drive at the rim, they've got some guys who can post up. I mean, let's look at Aaron Baines. For some reason, in the past few games, has become the second coming of Hakeem Olajuwon with a Steph Curry three-pointer. I mean, 6 of their players are averaging over double digits. Even fucking Frank Kaminsky is getting his 11 points per game. And trust me, if I had told you that that was going to be happening at the beginning of the season, you would not have believed me. Now, with all of this potential and talent on the offensive end that I've spoken about, there's still 3 issues that I've highlighted. The first and most obvious one being DeAndre Ayton. I mean, I'm not going to beat a dead horse here. We all know that he's out for 25 games for whatever reason. Whether or not it was valid or justified, he's not going to be there. And he was contributing 18 points per game. The question then becomes, who's the second guy? Who's the person that takes over the offense when Devin Booker's not on the court or having an off night? My gut says that it's Kelly Oubre Jr., but as I said earlier, is he really a 20-22 point per game scorer? I'm not sure yet. I still see him as a 16-17 guy who on his night is going to give you 24, but can he do that on a consistent basis? That's the question that needs to be asked, and we'll see through the rest of the season how it goes. And the other issue here is I'm not entirely sold on their bench unit. Sure, Tyler Johnson and Mikal Bridges are cool and all, but are you really getting that much offense off of the bench? I think you're getting at most 15 to 16 points, and in a stacked Western Conference like this, I think that the bench units in these small margins are the ones that are going to make the big differences. Because I think if the Phoenix Suns do want to make a playoff push, they're going to be going up against the likes of Dallas and Minnesota, and these are the really fine margins that are going to separate them from possibly an 8th seed and possibly an 11th seed. I think the Suns are also going to miss Ayton defensively. I mean, sure, Baines is a good rim protector, but I think against more dominant big men, the interior defense, or lack thereof, is going to be exposed. I don't think their perimeter defense is that bad. I actually think Devin Booker is an underrated defender. We saw in his Kentucky days that he can actually contribute meaningfully on that end, but I still don't think that there's a dominant enough figure in the paint to not only protect the rim but to grab rebounds. I mean, we have to remember Ayton was averaging 11 rebounds per game, and sure, Baines might be able to recoup some of that, but I still think that overall Ayton is a better rebounder. So I think that they're going to be exposed on the defensive glass, and it might end up hurting their offense a little bit. But overall, do I think the Phoenix Suns are going to make the playoffs? No. I think that 7th or 8th spot is more likely to go to someone like the Mavericks or the Timberwolves, who I just feel have better rosters overall than the Phoenix Suns. But the one thing that I do know for certain is that Phoenix fans can finally be excited. You've got a young core with a star in Devin Booker and a really good coach in Monty Williams, and I know that I'm going to be watching a hell of a lot of Suns games this season, and I haven't been able to say that for a while.